this is just an overview. So at this time, I'd like to turn it over to Minh, and he's in a teacher's classroom, I believe, over in Marengo that has the camera already set up, and he's going to show us how it works. Thank you, Minh.
Thanks, Lois. Yes, I'm in Brianna's room, C2 at Marengo. So we're going around installing all the cameras.
I can't hear you very well, Minh. I don't know, is it just me?
Are you there? Can you hear me?
There we go, that's better.
Okay, I think it's, I'll show you.
You have to have a speaker next to you, Minh, to hear you better.
Yes, I need to speak up a little too. Not used to it. Okay, so what we're doing is installing speakers and cameras too. So let me show you the equipment that we're installing. So here's this one here. Do you see that? So that's the speaker that we are, that's the wireless speaker that we're using in your classroom. So you can put it anywhere and it'll be, you can, it functions like a speaker and a mic. So you can talk and speak and hear to it. Is it pretty loud or do I need to speak up a little more?
Minh, we can't hear you again.
You can, okay, so it's probably breaking up a little bit, but that's the speaker. Here is the camera. So this is the camera that we are installing at most of the classrooms, and they're the IP camera, and that's the Aver 311 that Lois is talking about. And we have installed them at the back of the classroom, and what it does is that it functions like a webcam, but basically there's nothing really you need to program. All you have to do is plug it in.
How's it going? Do you want to reply?
Oh, somebody was speaking on the other.
Minh, you need to mute everybody because when
Sorry, did you want to reply to that one?
I think that was Heidi.
Heidi, yeah.
You might have to carry the speaker around with you.
Okay, it's mute all. Can you hear it? Okay.
Yes, that's better.
Thanks. All right, so that's the camera, and the camera has a built-in auto tracking. So pretty much it's programmed to pick up the first, sort of like a person. It has an algorithm to pick up a person's figure, like their, it doesn't recognize your face or anything. Basically, it picks up a human form. So if you have, other object moving in the room or anything like that, it's not gonna track that object. So the camera can track whoever is in the frame the first time, initially. So if you have a kid, a student or somebody walk by in front of you, that camera is not going to, start tracking that other person or student. So pretty much it locks onto the first person it sees. So I hope that makes sense. So that's the camera that we're setting up at the most of the classrooms. So let me go ahead and demonstrate to you what it does. So I'm going to zoom out to the classroom. So it's going to zoom out to the classroom, and then this is the classroom that I'm in. So it has a pretty good resolution, and it has a 12x zoom on it. So you can zoom up to, the board or anything you want. You'll see once we play around with it. So let me turn on tracking. All right, so it's gonna start zooming in on where I am. Okay, do you see me still? All right, so now I'm at the desk there. So if I'm walking around, that camera is going to start tracking me. So let me move this a little bit so I can see. So if I walk across the room,
he talking? Because I can't hear him.
He's not talking. He's just walking.
Thank you.
So he has all commentate, but he has a.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
Can
there
you hear
you
me?
go. Yeah, you
Oh.
turned off your speaker.
Sorry, I think I turned off the mute on my speaker. So I was just walking around showing you how far the camera can pan and tilt and track you. So right now I'm on one corner of the room. So it's still tracking me. And then now I'm like probably 4 feet in front of that camera. So it's still tracking me there. So you can still see me, correct? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Min,
Okay.
can you go to the farthest point away from it and then do zoom in as far as it can go?
Yes, I'll show you that. So right now, let me walk back to my computer. So I can walk to the center of the room also, and it'll track that area too. So now if I walk over here, let's say I set up this camera will also let you set up different zone. So if I want zone, or they call it blocks. So basically you set up a zone for, I want to zoom in on this area, or I want to zoom in on this area as your second zone. So let's say, for example, I'm doing something on here and I don't want to track me and I want to zoom in on this area. What I can do is turn that off, and then I'll use a remote and press 2. And now it zooms up to the board. Do you see that?
Yes.
So watch so this is about across the room. So if I zoom in to that little board there, oops. You can see that text, right? It can zoom in pretty far, pretty close up. How's that? Is that what you're asking about, Michael, or whoever was asking?
Yeah, that's how I wanted to see what detail we could get from the back of the room or wherever it's going to be installed.
Oh yeah, you can actually, you probably have to put on makeup when you're starting to use this camera. I'm sorry. So it can zoom in really nice. It's HD quality. So right now I set that up as zone 1 or preset 1 on your remote control. So your remote control, you can set up 9 different presets. And so anytime you press that preset, it'll go to that zone. So right now I have zone, so I wrote a little 1. So that's like zone 1 or whatever, preset number 2. You just have to remember which preset you set your remote number to. And then you can use that to, as you teach, you can change it to a different zone. So right now.
Min, we had a question in the chat box, but I think you might have answered it, showing us that. Can it remain fixed in one spot on the whiteboard? So that's what you would do if you wanted it just on your whiteboard, you can zoom in like that. Is that answering that question?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you want to just that one whiteboard area, and then you want to go in and start, writing on it, can you see that? Yeah, that came out.
You'd have to zoom in a little bit more, I think, for us to see it.
That's probably pretty light. Yeah,
it's just the marker that's light. Usually it's hard to see green, but black shows up very well.
Okay, yeah, it is a green marker. Let me do this.
And Elaine is showing us a little bit too. If you look in Elaine's video, she has this in her classroom as well. So she's been showing us a few things that the camera can do as well. I think she just wrote on her board and is zooming in.
Right. So that's the stationary part of it, if you want it to remain where it is. So here's another, so there's 9 different zones that you can preset on your remote and use as you want to. So basically that's, there's nothing really you need to do on connection wise. So it's just basically a HDMI connected to an adapter. And from the adapter, it plugs via USB into your computer. Let me show you what it looks like. Okay, so here's my computer, and then here's the HDMI cable, and it plugs directly into your USB port on your computer. So there's nothing you need to do. It just acts like a webcam. So if I unplug this, it's gonna disconnect the video. So there's no programming or there's no setup or anything on your end, and that's pretty much about it. There's programming wise, we'll go through that, on the next training with, setting up showing you how to program the remote with your different preset, and then also showing you the tracking part of it. The tracking part, if it loses tracking, it will go back to your preset number 1, which is where you want to set up so that it'll, once it loses the tracking, it'll go back to that area, and then you can walk back to that area and it'll pick up the tracking again. So that's it with the tracking. So let me turn that back on and it should start tracking me. Any question?
Min, we did have another question. I think you just showed us that too, though. Can you turn it off at points during the day when it's not needed? So I think you could just unplug the HDMI cable.
Correct. Yeah, once you unplug, well, are you asking about turning off the camera, or the camera, you don't have to turn it on, but there is a capability to turn it on or turn it off, I mean.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
I think that's what yeah, so when they don't need the camera throughout the day, can they turn it off? So the answer is yes, you can turn it off.
Right, yes.
Another question, can dock cameras be used at the same time as the camera?
Yes, if you make me a co-host, I can show that. I can show how you would do that with a document camera.
Will do. Hold on, let me see.
And Elaine too, if you would like to give any words or yeah.
Well, I can show you how I've been using it as teaching. If you make me a co-host, then I can share my document camera so you can see how I've used it.
Okay, great.
The way that you turn it off, I don't have to unplug anything. When you guys are on Zoom, you know how you have your little up arrow with your video and you have different options. You have your integrated webcam, which is on right now. I would just choose video capture on my actual camera and it automatically changes. So I have access to going back and forth, or you can just turn it off. You can just turn the off button on the controller. So there's a lot of, you don't have to undo anything, and there's only one cord that you plug into your laptop. The only thing, I don't know, Min, if you want to explain, is the hub. We have so many things coming out of our laptops. There's not enough inputs and outputs and plugs. You need a hub because it is a USB port. So if you're out of USB ports, you need a little external hub.
Right.
But has someone made me Min, you want to make me a co-host and I can show how to use the document camera?
I already did.
Oh, boom. All right, let me do it.
So the hub,
all right.
the hub that Elena is talking about, it depends on, correct, how many USB you have connected to your laptop. So if you have available USB, then this should work with it.
So here is my document camera. I have something on my whiteboard. So let's say I have a small cohort starting next week. So I am gonna have kids in the classroom. So If you notice, when I use my camera, you should see two of me. You have one that's a person, and then you should also see me sharing my document. So if I have kids on Zoom, they can see this close-up, and then the kids in the classroom can see my whiteboard. So I don't know, I have to log in as a student, but you guys tell me what you see. Do you see me twice, or do you only see me once? Maybe because I'm a co-host, but can you see my sloppy handwriting?
So we can see both.
Okay, so if you can see both, so if you have kids on Zoom, they see this part underneath my document camera. When there's kids in the classroom, they're seeing what I'm projecting from my document camera on the whiteboard, but then they also can see me. Let's say I'm projecting like math notes or something, and I want to write on the whiteboard. Then the kids in the classroom can see me writing on the whiteboard while the kids on Zoom see both. They see the document camera. The only thing is, this is the only thing that I have to figure out. If I want to write notes for math on here, the kids have to be focused. I have to be talking to my camera up there. If I'm going to sit at my desk and write, you know, underneath the document camera, let's say that this is blank and I'm writing. So I need to choose how I want to teach. Do I want to teach at the whiteboard, or do I want to sit here and teach during the document camera? Because either way, the kids in class can see. It's just what's better for the kids on Zoom, if that makes sense.
Elaine, this is
there
Cleo.
any?
How would you know if?
I'm sorry.
This is Cleo. How would you know if you have maybe a child on Zoom asking a question? How would you know that they have a question?
All right, so let me change my view. So let me track me. You can't, okay, this is another thing. I don't know if Min mentioned this. When you're trained, when you're tracking and you're walking around the room and it tracks you, it follows you and you can't stand still, but you have to be off of tracking for it to stay still. So right now I had to turn the tracking off in order to tell where the camera to look. Once I turn the tracking on, it's going to follow me and change. Oh, did it start? It already did. So it already changed. So there I am. So right now I'm sitting like sideways. I'll zoom in a little bit so you can see me. I'm sideways right now because when I have kids in the classroom, I can actually see them. But if I want to like teach at the whiteboard, then what I have to do is I need to turn all of my screens around. So if I am going to teach over here, I need to make sure that, like, that's why I have a standing desk here and I have two of them. I'm going to set them up. So I'm going to turn my laptop here. I have a double screen. So I just turn this around and I can see you guys on Zoom. So when I'm teaching, I could be talking to the kids teaching on the board and I can see, yes, I can see Jennifer. So I saw her raise her hand to ask a question because I have it on the big screen. Now, if you don't have the split screen and it's just a laptop, then, you know, that's going to be a little hard. I did notice, and you guys noticed this with Min, this portable speaker, like right now, I have my microphone around my neck. And right now, the reason why I would want to use the speaker is if I want the kids on Zoom to hear the kids in the classroom. Otherwise, it doesn't matter. You can hear me talking through my mic that I'm wearing, and the kids in the classroom can hear me talking. The only time that I want to use this speaker, which is not, like, as you can tell, if it's not near you, you can't hear very well, is only if I want the kids to be able to hear each other. But I also have external speakers. If I just turn those on, the kids can at least hear. They just won't be able to talk to each other. So it all depends on what you want to do. If you want to put the kids on Zoom in a breakout room, then maybe have the speaker on, but then they have headphones. There's a lot of different ways you can play with it, but this is not, you don't have to have this on the whole time. You guys can hear me fine and I can hear you fine with my headphones on. So I don't know. I just have to play around with it. Every day is different. So
you can use.
Yeah, there's a lot of different ways you can use it, but I did notice, Min, when I'm switching between math to benchmark to everything with that camera, I get popped out of Zoom a couple times. I think because Zoom is like overloaded because I have so many things going on, but it's only for a split second and then I'm put back in. But that's the only problem that I've had with it since I've tried it out. So anything else you guys want me to show you? I was trying to look at the chat.
If you're talking or you have to unmute yourself.
There's nothing else in the chat. There's nothing else new in the chat right now.
Okay.
Nothing, okay.
I think the best part that I think that Min and I liked about this when we were figuring it out, it didn't take us very long. There's not a lot of stuff that I have to plug in. There's not a lot of stuff I have to remember while I'm in the middle of teaching. The only thing is you have to be able to see, like I don't have to teach at the board, right? I can choose to stay at my desk, keep my distance. I don't have to get up. So that camera can just be focused on me so they can see each other. It's focused on the board, but that camera is just another webcam is all it is. You have to just remember it's a webcam, but the kids can still see me, whether I have kids in the classroom or on Zoom, because I have all these other outlets. But it didn't take a lot for me to figure it out because it's just your basic controller. I mean, it's just zoom in, zoom out, things like that. So
yeah, it's supposed to be simple. Just plug it in and then
I don't know.
We do have a couple.
Yes, the speaker mic is Bluetooth. And it has another thing why you need the port is because there's no like wall cord. It's a USB again. So the battery lasts a lot, like really, I think it lasted a week, but I just plug it in at the end of the day, every day on my computer. But that's why you need that little extra hub because it's another USB. It's not something that plugs into the wall. It plugs into your laptop. And you can even mute this. So let's say you were out walking around. You don't have to come to your computer to mute yourself. I can just press this button in the middle and it mutes it'll turn red. There's a red circle that says that I'm muted. So I can talk to the kids in the classroom if I need to, and then turn it back on. When somebody speaks, it turns green. So there's different color codes to what's happening. You have
there's like
volume control, and there's like a little phone, but I don't think I'm gonna use a phone. There's an on and off button. So I don't know if you guys can see that. That's what Min was kind of showing you. But I do notice, Min, I have to walk around with this. Like I almost want to 50 cent this thing, get a gold chain, walk around, what's up, because I was like,
Flav.
Yeah.
Can you switch your screen so that we can see? Right now we're looking at your paper.
Oh.
Elaine, you've taken over, right?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, but you were trying to show things and it was in the little box. And so
She's
people want to see what you're demonstrating.
Because I was sharing the whiteboard. So I was sharing my screen still. Is it normal now? Okay, sorry.
Not sharing anymore.
Okay, good. All right, and I'm off. Muted.
Right, we have one more question that I think can we show us the earphones? Did we answer that question yet? I don't think so.
You mean the headphone?
You mean the head? I bought these at Walmart. These were $23. This goes around my neck. It's Bluetooth. It goes in my ear. My microphone is right here. And this is what I use to Zoom every day. And I did that so I'm not, sometimes when you get up and your cord's there, that was just too much for me. So I got the Bluetooth, but these are from Walmart. This is not part of this kit. But because I'm on Zoom and it's Bluetooth through Zoom, I choose this as my default speaker and mic instead of using this.
Wireless.
Min, Elaine, this is Michael.
Hi, Michael.
How are you doing, by the way?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing super. Another day in paradise. One of my concerns is when a child is on Zoom and I have the 15 in front of me and I'm working on my whiteboard, I know the camera can follow me to the whiteboard, but is there a way I can make the screen that the kids see is big? Because all I see is that little 2x2 square on my computer?
Yeah, so that's when you choose, and this is what I have to play around with. You know where it says stop video down there on Zoom, you being the
Right.
host, and you have your little arrow. Right now, I have 5 different options. I have, because your projector is also considered a webcam. So I have my video capture, which is the cool HD video, which we've been showing you. I also have my document camera. I have the integrated webcam, which I have right now as my default. And then I have another one, which is my projector. So you have to decide, what are you going to share? Because you can share your screen and choose one of those options as the webcam under advanced on Zoom, or you choose which default you want to teach from. So it depends. And it does take a minute to figure that out. It took me a couple of times to figure it out. And it's really hard when you're on Zoom by yourself. So I usually call my friend Sarah and we figure it out and, and try to see what's happening. I'm like, what can you see, what you can't see? Or you get a student Chromebook and log in as a student, right, to see what they see. And then I'm making cheat sheets on sticky notes saying, okay, when you're teaching math, right, depending on what you want to do, this is what you need to do. This is your default and you're going to share this. Like I like to share my document camera. Because they're all considered webcams, you need to figure out what works best for you and what you share is bigger, right? So you kind of have to play around with it.
Understand.
Yeah, just make sure you select the right webcam you want to use.
Correct.
Option is Elaine brought up that, you might need a secondary monitor. So when you, teach or you can't see what the students online, they're raising their hand or doing something like that. What the other option is, if you don't have a monitor, get a student Chromebook, join your own meeting, and then you can walk around with the Chromebook. And
that's your external webcam.
And that's your external webcam, and you can see what the students or whoever is raising their hand or anything like that, if you don't have an external monitor or secondary monitor. Or if you still have that secondary monitor, you can still use the Chromebook. You don't have to turn it around or anything like that. So
another thing to know too, Min, I don't know if you knew this was by trial and error. When you share your screen and you want to use the projector onto the whiteboard, you only can project what's from your laptop. It will not project what's on your secondary screen. So you need to move your Zoom kids to your bigger screen so that whatever you want to share, like the document camera, has to come from my laptop. That was something that I played around with and figured that out.
Yeah, because you have a secondary monitor.
Correct.
Yep.
Elaine, your headphones are a hit. We've got a few people that want to know the brand.
I don't know. I will Google.
Okay. And then we had a question. Could you join your own meeting with your phone so it is lighter to carry around?
Yes. Yes, you can.
Can I ask a clarifying question? This might be more for Karen or Min or Cleo, sorry. These cameras, to my knowledge, are for those who are willing to teach online and in person if we go to AM/PM model. Is that correct?
Yes, that's what we're starting with right now. Right now we have purchased 63 cameras right now.
So I have kids coming next week. So I'm not allowed to use that while I have a small, I have 10 kids coming. So I'm going to be teaching online and in person next week. So am I not allowed to use it?
We can talk about it. I don't know if you're on the list to get a camera right now or not, Sarah.
Okay.
I can look at the list and we were just, if we need to, we do have more, thankfully, federal stimulus money that's coming in. And so if we have more than 62 teachers or 63 teachers that want to use a camera like this, we can buy more. But we are starting right now with the priority of getting teachers ready that are, would keep distance learning kids, but we can buy more.
How do we get on the list?
That is through your administrator.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, administrators have started the list and started conversations with teachers. This has all been voluntary. And so we haven't wanted to push teachers into this at all. And so the communication has come from admin, and then it's a shared doc with men and maintenance team. And they started this week at Marengo installing the cameras, and they're just going right off that list.
Whoa, sorry, that link is huge, but there's your headphones. Sorry, guys.
One thing too about using your phone as a, joining your own Zoom meeting, it is a little bit small on the screen too. So if you're trying to see, the kids, if they're raising their hand or something like that, I don't know how it would show up on there. It's really tiny. So you can't see, I don't think you can see everyone.
That is true. And so for me, I don't make my kids raise their hand because I can't see them, so I just let them unmute. So if I'm walking around the classroom, there's like, Ms. Troll, and then, somebody will tell me. So there is a way around that.
If they start talking, that works.
Yeah.
Okay.
Another question of, would it be possible to purchase teachers the headset like Elaine's? We could talk about that. Also, do we get a speaker? Yes, you do. You get what we have purchased, and what you need for this would be the camera and the speaker. Is that right, Min?
Correct.
Yeah. So that's part of the package deal that has already been purchased. Any other questions? Thanks, Elaine, for jumping in there and being a demo also.
I have a question about the installation. Does it have to be on the back of the classroom, or can we hang it from the middle of the room, and will it go 360? Because when I'm in my classroom, I use boards that are all sides, and I use it for music. So I have instruments in one area where I demonstrate, or, I have a display on another side of the room. So I was wondering, does it have to be in the back? Can we put it in the middle? Will it go 360?
It does go 360. We can put it in the back. If you utilize...
It's not wireless.
It's not wireless. We can put it in the middle, and it does 360. If you use all your chalkboard, then we can probably do that, correct. But I think most of the teachers are, using just one area and one area of the classroom, and so that's why we pick the back of it, so that it'll pick up the board in the front and everything else. Okay.
We have another question that came in. If students get dropped from Zoom during the class session and then come back to the waiting room, would you anticipate it being hard to monitor? And if we don't catch them in the waiting room while we're teaching, or students that come in late?
I think
well, for me, sorry, Min, if you have that little doorbell sound, then you can at least hear when kids are coming in and out, like if they're dropped. If you have that sound off, then yes, it's going to be hard. But I would just keep that little doorbell ding sound when kids enter the room or leave. Then at least you're notified that something's happening. Min, do you have a better idea?
No, I was going to say that ding sound helps.
Will we get a second screen? Elaine has all the bells and whistles, making her job easier. We can work with admin on screens. I know that, yeah, we'll work with admin on that. Admin have federal relief money too. And I know that a lot of sites have purchased double monitors already. I think most sites have, but that's something, that might be something that you ask your administrator for, but we'll look into that.
Elaine found me. I have a TV. I have a 32-inch TV. Elaine found it for me for $10.
Mine's a TV as well. They're old TVs from my garage. They're not a monitor. Anything that has an HDMI cord,
yeah,
you can use. It doesn't have to be a computer monitor. It could be an old TV. This was my daughter's in her room. I was like, too bad, gotta use it.
And I have a friend that got one at a thrift store for $5. So, I mean, as long as your picture's good, it's fine.
Yeah.
Right. As long as you have HDMI connection.
I guess we need to go thrift shopping or yard sale shopping. Find some TVs with our mask on, of course.
Well, we are teachers after all.
Yes. No, I think we can work some of this stuff out. Definitely, we do have funds for the technology piece of this. So,
looks like we have a question. What is the timeline for installation? How many teachers are getting this camera or on the current list? Timeline wise, we started installing Marengo this week. Marengo there's like 15 teachers, so it took us like 15 to 16 teachers. It took us 3 days. So it depends on what we need to do per classroom. Either pull, we need to pull cable all the way to the server room, or can we utilize like a port in the room? So it all depends. And then how easy is it to access the ceiling part of it? So do we need to crawl up there and do all that stuff? So there are some rooms that took us a while to do. So it all depends. So I can't, we say about 1 to 2 hours, but it all depends.
Min, would you say we have, I haven't checked the list today, but I'd say we have what, 40, 45 teachers on the list so far?
Oh, I think so. I didn't really count.
I think it's in the 40s of what we have so far. Okay. And then we have a schedule that we're doing after Marengo. I can't remember what site it is. Do you remember? Man, I could pull it up. We have a schedule of where the team will go next after Marengo.
I think it was.
I can pull it up as we're talking.
I'm not, yeah.
I thought it was Valley. I thought it was Valley.
It might be Valley next. We went by, we started with the sites that had the most teacher requests, as many volunteers, and that was Marengo had the most teachers, so we started there. But we can pull it up here where we're going next. Someone's asking, the system for the camera and the microphone, or for the speaker, it was about $2,200. So about $2,200 a classroom.
I clarified the funding source. Did you see? I think you said that earlier, but there's a question. Is that correct, Lois? I call it the emergency funding.
Yes, the federal COVID relief money. Yes.
Any other questions?
Any other questions? Karen, you're right. I just pulled it up. We go to Valley Oaks next. It goes Valley Oaks, River Oaks, Greer, Lake Canyon, McCaffrey, and Fairsight.
Min, these do, if I looked it up right, these do power over Ethernet, but do they do video over Ethernet and you can run one cable instead of two?
You can pull up the video over Ethernet, but we didn't do it that way because that's going to make it harder for teachers to set up and stuff. All this is just plugging in a USB, and then Zoom, and this works better with Zoom than with a network.
I have a question for Elaine. Elaine, how much were your stand-up desks?
I got those through Donor Choose a couple of years ago, but they're about $200. But you could rise. I mean, I don't have to have the standing desk. I'm just sick of sitting. So, I mean, if I didn't have that standing desk, I can just turn my screens around and still see. It's just wherever you're going to stand, right? That's only if I'm, like, I only need that camera if I'm teaching from the whiteboard. Otherwise, I don't need it because I can share everything on Zoom, but the kids in my classroom just see that I'm sitting, which normally I teach benchmark sitting anyways, right? Because I'm using it through the document camera. So I don't, the only thing I think I'm going to stand at the whiteboard is math. That's the only thing that I'm going to try to do. But again, I do math notes. And so I don't have to zoom in the book really, because math is so small. I could write the problems a lot bigger on the whiteboard so the kids in the classroom can see it and on Zoom. And I'm not having it follow me because I like to move. I might give some kids some whiplash. So it's just going to be, you know, right on the whiteboard, writing really big in black expo markers, black and blue, purple, all those things don't show because there's a glare to it with the projector. Another thing I noticed that you have to turn off the lights. So I have half my lights dimmed right now, and sometimes it's still hard to see because of the glare. I did teach science. I was teaching science through a Padlet when I did this with a class, and I just made it black, like pitch black in here. But if I have students in here, that's way too dark. Right. So I almost want to take the light bulbs like above my whiteboard. Some teachers have that already done where the light bulbs are taken out, just so the quality is a little better, because it's not the HD camera. I mean, you can zoom in and see my gray hair. It's the glare of the projector. And my projector's not on the ground. It is, my projector was put on my ceiling this year. So it might be a little different based on the angle, but I have both the camera and my projector pretty much parallel to each other in height. So I don't know if that makes a difference with glare or not. So everyone has to play around with it. Yeah. And I just use the kids, you know, they're my guinea pigs. I'm like, hey guys, guess what we're going to do this morning? We're going to figure out this new camera that I got. And Min was in here and he was on my Zoom as a student. And the kids are really awesome. They're telling us, yeah, that's just way too close, Ms. Troll, too close. Like Zoom, back it up a little bit. So you just, once you get it, you just have to play around with what works with it. I don't use half these buttons. I just use the track me and then turn it off and then zoom into my whiteboard. I don't need to place it over by the sink. I don't need them to watch me walk around. I just need it to be in front and center.
Okay. It's just a little different for kindergartners.
Yes.
PK and K.
What you want to teach or how you want to teach.
Yeah.
And moving can be distracting. Yes. So you kind of have to pick and choose. And that's why I was like, you know what, I'm going to try math first, because that's a very stationary, direct teaching, right? But if I'm teaching science, I'm moving around and doing all this stuff. And maybe I don't want them following me. And maybe I'm just using my document camera to show and explore or something, right? And then they can see it through there. So you just have to play around with what works for, but that camera doesn't have to be on you. Like, it doesn't have to show the classroom all the time. You can turn that part off. It just, how do you want to use it to teach?
Right.
But then the kids that are at home won't be able to see what the teacher's doing, right? If the camera isn't.
I have 5 webcams, so I have to choose. Do I want them to see the document camera? Do I want them to see what I'm projecting on the whiteboard? Do I want them to see me right now, just the webcam? Or do I want them to see the entire classroom or zoomed in? I have a lot of options.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, there's a teacher over at Lake Canyon that she was saying that, you know, some of her students online would like to see where she's at. I guess she can't disappear from the screen or something like that. And so she needs the camera to follow her so the students can see, you know, where the teacher is, I guess. So that's why she was saying, can these camera track you? And she would like to, you know, that's what she wants to use it for, because one of her students can't function without seeing the teacher. So it depends.
That camera takes you out of your seat. Like, instead of you seeing the background that you've been seeing, you know, for these 20 weeks, you actually get to see me at a whiteboard. And I was, David was my guinea pig a couple days ago, and he's like, it actually makes a difference. When you're at the whiteboard writing, I actually feel like I'm in school and I'm not on Zoom anymore. It's totally different. It's a totally different vibe. It makes me want to be a little bit more engaged because it's such a different scenery because they're so used to us just sitting. So standing up and moving, it's just a different view for them.
Yep.
Thank you.
I think there's one more question for Min about a capture card.
Oh, all it is just a one of those USB 3 capture card. Does that help?
Right, I was just curious which one it was because I have one of those, and when I tried it on Zoom, the frame rate was really low and it was not very useful for what I was trying. So I was just curious which one it was.
Let's see. Hold on, let me give, it doesn't give a name. If you look it up on Amazon, just look up USB 3 to HDMI adapter. Let me see if I can pan to it. Hold on a second.
While Min's doing that, any other questions or comments? I have no idea even what a capture card is. Should I know what that is? I'm gonna have to Google capture card.
You see that?
Oh, okay.
Okay, so it's just one of the generic ones off of Amazon. That's what I tried, but the one that I got, I guess, was just the wrong one.
So it zooms in pretty good. So the videos is pretty nice too.
Why do we need one of those?
What's that?
Why do we need a capture card?
Because you need to go from HDMI to USB. You can't go from
All
HDMI.
of those getting started.
It's a converter.
It's a converter.
Thank you. Elaine knows I need easy words. Thank you, Elaine.
Okay.
Mine is like this.
And that's all part, we ordered all of those already, right, Min? That's part of the setup?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, okay. All right, now I know what it is.
Yes.
Okay.
This is the best training yet.
I know, learning all kinds of stuff. All right, well.
The only thing is the hub, Min, right? That's you, I mean,
oh, I don't know if again, Elaine.
I don't, okay, so let me show you.
We will order some hubs, Elaine. Thanks for mentioning that.
This is my hub, and it only, I can't reach it because it's connected, but it only takes 3 USB. You have 1 USB port coming out of your laptop. I need all of these, plus I have 2 more that are not plugged in. So if you want,
get hubs that have 5 or more. Get hubs that have 5 or more.
Because this is my document camera, and this is the camera that's up there, and this is my charger for my earphones, and then I have another one for this thing, right, Min? So we were laughing because he's like, you guys just don't have enough places to put all these cords, and then this one cord goes into my laptop so that all of these work. So that's the one thing I had to go buy myself, but if you guys buy it, great.
Okay, we will buy 5 port hubs.
Yeah, it depends on how many things you have connected to your laptop. Your laptop does have 2 USB, so that's why.
And then there's the HDMI one too. If you have a split screen plus an HDMI, then you're going to need an HDMI cord hub thing too. So.
Well, there's screens that have built-in hubs if you want to clean up your desks. You can look for those.
We're getting real technical now.
Yeah, but that's the thing. We're getting more You have so many things you have to plug in. You need a hub somewhere. I don't know how you do everything because you can't sit there and unplug. What are you doing? So
Lois's shopping list is getting longer and longer.
Yeah, no, I mean, I know we need this stuff with the way teaching is these days and technology. I mean, we've got to keep this stuff upgraded and get it in your hands. So we will.
Maybe we need a garage sale committee.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well, we can use the emergency funds before they're zipped away from us, right? What is it? Use it or lose it?
No, actually, the second round, there's a good timeline on that. We have at least a year.
Oh, good. That's good to know.
Yeah, so we'll be okay. They're actually encouraging you to take time and plan, and and really figure like this kind of stuff, like really plan what technology you're going to need the next year. But no, they're not forcing us to spend it in 2 months like last time.
Not that we had any problem spending it in 2 months.
No, we spent it. Okay. Anything else? All right. Well, thank you. Yeah, seeing some good comments there. Thank you. I think it would a big part of this too is to learn from each other. And so for teachers that want to take part in this, there would be a monthly training session or even just a sharing session, something kind of similar to this. It would be voluntary, but it would be the district would facilitate it and put a Zoom link out to where teachers could join and share these kinds of things, show what you just bought at Walmart at a garage sale, or talk about how you're using this, similar to what Elaine is demoing for us today. So that would be part of this learning too, as we move forward.
And then we'll get an invitation like the one that was sent out for this one for the next training on the 27th?
Yes, you will. We will send it out. That one will probably just go out personally to the teachers that have signed up. So more information will be coming about that, but that one will probably go to that way.
Okay, I didn't sign up, but I need, I'm going to get a camera because I have the kids coming into my classroom from special ed that are mainstreamed.
Okay.
So I just want to make sure that I'm on the list.
Okay, just work with your administrator. And we were hoping that we would get more teachers just through showing what the camera can do and people talking about, what you can do in the classroom with this. And so, we hope to buy more if the need is there, and we will. It only took us, I want to say from the time we ordered, it only took us about a couple weeks to get the cameras in. So that's good. Some technology is taking forever to get right now. But this came pretty quickly. So, and we meet with administrators tomorrow afternoon. And so we'll talk a little bit more about this and see if we need to reach out again. Maybe we have more teachers that want to volunteer now. All right. Well, if that's it, I thank you, Min, and thank you, Elaine.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Take care. Have a good night.